If I were to say to you, Peter, what is your favorite song of all time?
Of all time?
Yeah, what's your favorite ballad, for example, that anyone's written?
Oh, Whiter Shade of Pale. Just because it's such a perfect song.
It's a perfect song.
It is one of the most perfect songs.
Yeah.
I mean, there's loads, there's Beatles songs on it, but that one, I don't know what it is about that song, but it's just perfect, and it's classical.
Yeah.
Based on classical.
Yeah.
So.
Can you talk a little bit about this guitar? I know you've told the story.
Right.
I played the guitar for a brief second, and the neck on it is very thin.
Yes.
It's thinner than any Les Paul I've ever played.
Yes. It is.
Those guitars were like baseball bats originally.
The 54, yeah, probably. And Mark Mariana is my dear friend who gave me the guitar in 1970 from Oakland and Bay Area. And so he had, I think when he bought it, he said it was green. Someone had painted it green, and it was two P90s,
yeah.
The original, the two different ones, right?
Yeah.
So it was a Black Beauty, 54 Black Beauty, and so he took the the P90s out and put two humbuckers in, and then, I mean, he didn't just stop at shaving the neck; he did it by hand.
Yeah.
He shaved this as well to get the get the color off. It's actually smaller than a regular Les Paul because he shaved so much off. So, but when he'd done that, I'm not sure if he put the third pickup in himself or if he sent another one back and said, please route this for 3P. He wanted it to look like a 57 custom.
Yeah.
And even though it was a 54. So it came back pristine looking, brand new. And then so Humble Pie is playing the Fillmore West. And Mark said we were playing 4 nights. And I had had an SG, a 62 SG with the woodblock back here with Humble Pie. And I just fancied a change. So I swapped it with someone for a 335 without it didn't have the wood that goes all the way through it, so it was more hollow. I didn't know this at the time, but every time I turned up for the solo,
feedback,
it was that was some of my solos. So I was so depressed the first 2 nights, and then Mark, who we'd got to know a little bit, and he said, "Well, I got this Les Paul." I said, "I'm not really big on Les Pauls. I like my SG." He said, "Well." I said, "But you know what, thank you. Maybe I could borrow it because I'm getting nowhere with this." So he brought it to I think it was the Ramada Inn or somewhere where we were staying in San Francisco, and he opened it up, and it's this brand new looking guitar. Looks like a brand new 57, So I drooled a little, picked it up, and I just put my hand around the neck, and I went, "Oh wow, this is made for me," And I'm thinking, oh God, let me try this tonight. So he let me play it for the remaining shows. And at the end of the run, I gave it back to him. And he said, I said, "I don't suppose there's any chance that you might ever wish to sell this?" He said, "Nope, but I'll give it to you." So he gave it to me. And I have given him many guitars since. And every time we come out with a new version, Gibson, he always gets number 1, because if it weren't for him, I would never have had it. So he's a dear friend, and I treasure his friendship. And one of those people that you could, wow, it's hard to even think about now.
Can I ask you about playing live back in the 70s? About how loud did you guys play?
We were pretty loud. Well, we were using, to start with, we were using little Ampegs.
Okay.
And that didn't last.
Right.
So we came to America, and we brought all Marshalls. So we each had a 100-watt Marshall. Steve already had a 100-watt.
Would you play half stack or full stack?
Half stack.
Okay.
The the
slant.
top, the slant cabinets. And so now, because we don't have that much monitoring, or it's not that great, I need to hear a little bit more of me, you know. So I said, I think I'm going to get a 50 watt and a separate cabinet. So I got that, and then 2 weeks later, Steve had a 50 watt with an extra cabinet. So, well, whatever. So, but what we did with those extra cabinets was I put my 50 watt speaker his side, and he put his 50 watt speaker my side. So now we could hear everybody.
Yeah.
It was perfect, you know. And you knew how to balance then.
Yeah.
We had internal balance. We didn't have to worry about the monitor, because the opening act, if we get a sound check, it'll be a miracle, you know. So we had to be self-contained, and that's how we did it. It was pretty loud, yeah. But it wasn't as loud as when I left, apparently. So they got even louder. But I've never been about volume. It's always been like small amps always, to me, can sound much better than big amps unless you turn them up, you know.
You were always very big into using your volume knob and changing your tones through rolling back the volume and playing, and then when it would go to an exciting part, roll it up, and then you'd be at full volume playing with dynamics like that.
Yes, and I had the capacitor put in on the main volume so that as you rolled it back,
it wouldn't get darker.
It wouldn't get darker. It actually maintained its treble.
And this guitar, the knobs function differently because of the 3 pickups. Is that correct?
Well, these 2 pickups are your regular, you know, and they're on this. So we got let's see. So we got the middle, this one, and then then roll this off. That's the main volume. So we got nothing. So this center pickup, I thought it would be good to have it on a volume so you can bring it in when you need it. It kind of sounds like a fat Strat, right?
Yeah.
So you can then, if you're playing, so it's not in right now, but just this pickup on, and then if you bring this one in, it's got all different tones. And then if you bring it in with this one, so this is without it, and then if you, so it's all,
that makes a massive difference.
Yes, and it's fantastic because no other Les Paul has that sound.
Yeah.
And the way that the original 57 was wired, you could only ever get these 2 pickups on it once.
Yeah.
You could never get this on its own, you know. So that wasn't any good for me.
So was it always wired like that then?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah. So I don't remember. It would have to be a phone call to Mark, but I don't remember whether he wired it that way or I did. But yeah, I kind of think he did.